A very common task in Excel is comparing two lists to find either where there are matches or no matches. So for example, we've got list 1 and list 2, and maybe we want to see all the corresponding entries from list 1 that are also in list 2 or something like that. Now in traditional Excel, you'll probably use lots and lots of VLOOKUPs to do that. But PowerQuery has a much better, faster, and more efficient way to do it. Before we can do anything, we need to get them into PowerQuery. So we're going to just show you something new. So firstly, I'm just going to click on there and go the traditional way, go to Data, from Table or Range. And that gets us into PowerQuery. Now at the moment, we might need to do some transformations, but what we're going to do is we're going to choose Close and Load, and I'm going to choose the Close and Load to. And what that does is it brings up this box. Now normally we'd say Table and put it somewhere, but there's an option here which we're going to use called Only Create Connection. The whole point of this is getting these two into PowerQuery is great, but we don't really need them to appear in a spreadsheet separately. We want to do some work with them, and the end result must only appear. So for now, we're going to only create a connection for this list 1. And when I say OK, you'll see it creates it, gives it a name, table 23, and it tells us it's a connection only. We're going to do the same thing with the second list. So I'm going to click on it, go to Data, from Table or Range. So that looks fine. We're going to say Close and Load to. And again, I'm going to say Only Create Connection. And when I say OK, you'll see it's now called Table 24 and Connection Only. Keep in mind you can change these names to be more useful, but we now have two tables that are connections only. Now we want to join them. Before you join, you do need to know what is common about these lists. So we know that the document number over here is the common item, so that's what we must just keep in mind. Again, we go to Data. When we go to Get Data, if we go down here, you'll see there's an option called Combine Queries, and there's Merge, which is what we want to do, and Append, where you put them underneath each other. But we are going to say Merge. And what it asks you for is what must it merge. So select the tables that we want to merge. Now if the tables were in the spreadsheet, we could find them, or if they've got a name, so you'll see table 23 is the one that was created with a connection only. What do we want to merge it to? Table 24. Now that's almost done, but you haven't yet told PowerQuery what is common here. So should it compare the amount to the amount or the document number to amount? So the way you do this is very simple. You highlight the column or columns that are matching. So I'm going to highlight those two. And now it knows that whatever it needs to do, that is the common field. The next part then is the join kind. You'll see you've got about 6 options, and they've got different names. So there's something called left outer and right outer and full outer, and then there's inner, left anti and right anti. So these are explained a little bit later, but for now we're going to do the left outer. And what it says, and it tries to explain it here, is it's everything from the first list, so it's all these items, and the matching from the second. So for example, A001, it's over there. So eventually it will pull through that, this one, and the matching number. It tells you here that based on what you've got, the selection has matched 7 out of the first 10 rows. What it's doing is looking and trying to give you an idea of numbers. If you're happy with that, so we're going to do a left outer. I'm going to say OK. And what it does is it runs through, and because we chose the left outer, it lists everything in list 1. So you'll see all of them are there. And then there's a new column, and you'll notice there's a little expand option here. So at the moment, it's just told us that we've got everything from list 1. Do we want to see what was matching? When I open this, it asks, what do you want to see from the second list? So we're going to say we want to see everything. I'm going to say OK. And what you'll see is it then gives us list 1, all the items, and then it shows you all items from list 2 that match, and probably as importantly, the items that don't have a match. Now, depending on what you do, this will differ. So let's go back, click on our settings, and change this. So that was a left outer. If, for example, I say a right outer, what this is now going to do is take list 2, assume that's the correct list, and tell you what in list 1 matches. So when I say OK, you'll see it's now got a different set of answers. If I open it up, we're going to say insert a step, that's fine. So what you now have is all of list 2. So all of these are shown, and then only the matching items from list 1 and a null where they don't match. And so you can continue. I'm just going to remove some of these. Let's do one that probably would be most common, is perhaps an inner. So what this is saying only the matching rows. So when you choose that, what you're saying is only show me the rows that match between list 1 and list 2. So when I expand it, you'll see here there will never be a null, because what's happening is it's only showing us where list 1 and list 2 match, and you've got the corresponding entries. We can discard that. So that's how you can compare two lists and turn it into something that can then be used perhaps for a reconciliation or something to that effect.